So, attorneys for the accused shooter, Anderson Lee Aldrich, say in new court filings tonight that the suspect now identifies as non-binary.
So now the CNN reporters have to circle back on what they said when the shooting first happened. So the mainstream liberals have to circle back now because when this Colorado shooting happened, they were the very first ones to jump on the bandwagon blaming extreme right-wing Republicans, MAGA Republicans. They said the kid was a Trump supporter. And now it comes out, according to court documents, that this kid identifies as non-binary. Whether that's true or not is really not the point. The point is that they are beside themselves because they were so quick, like Nancy Pelosi was, to blame the Republican Party and MAGA supporters and all that bullshit, that's the reason this kid went into a gay club and started killing people. But now supposedly he goes by MX, Mix, according to his attorneys. And it's funny because the Washington Post reported first about this kid a while back that supposedly he was targeted by online bullies. Supposedly they made fun of him because he liked some Asian cartoons or something, and they made gay jokes about him. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. Again, it was posted in the Washington Post. But the Aldrich is not this kid's real name. His real name is Nicholas Franklin Brink. He changed his name back in 2016 because apparently he didn't want to be associated with his father, Aaron Brink. The father is according to him, he was an MMA fighter, and then he became a porn star in 2002. And he says the kid was embarrassed by his father. That's why he changed his name. So reporters found the father, and they asked him about this kid. And apparently he hasn't seen his son since 2011. According to him, his ex-wife told him that this kid committed suicide in 2016. And obviously he knows this isn't true. But this is what he had to say when reporters found him in a parking lot somewhere. And he doesn't seem too bright to me. Maybe it's from being an MMA fighter. But you be the judge. Have a look.
Was there any history of mental illness with him, or when's the last time you saw him?
My son, I hadn't seen him for years. I thought he committed suicide. His mother told me that he. I'll give you a history. I was a porn star. Okay, I became a porno star in 2002, and I combined it with a mixed martial arts career. And my ex was that she took off my son. I hadn't seen him for years. Little as I did see my son, I tried to give him, a father figure, or whatever. I didn't know where his low whereabouts were. I found out recently that he did not kill himself in 2016. That he was alive and well. And he lives in Colorado.
Yeah. Why did you think he had killed himself?
His mother told me this. She said that he killed himself because of I'm an embarrassment to him. He's been accused of doing some crazy thing. I don't know what he's been accused of. I can't get answers from the attorneys really, but they're saying somebody's involving a gay bar or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what the heck he did. If you have a gay bar. I don't know what's going on.
Well, he's accused of going on a mass shooting at a gay bar and killing 5 people.
Colorado.
Okay, well, that's shit. If he's accused of doing that, I'm surprised he's not gay. I say that, but he's not gay.
When was the last time you saw him?
It was. I saw him. I made efforts to see him, but I think I see him in 2011.
So again, self-proclaimed MMA fighter, porn star. That doesn't even make a difference right now. But according to him, he knows his son wasn't gay, although he hasn't seen the kid since 2011. He claimed he didn't know what the kid was accused of until the reporters told him, which, again, I find that hard to believe. But if that's what he says, that's what he says. I don't think he has anything to do with this. He hasn't been in this kid's life for years, although he's a loving father and he wants to have a relationship with him. Okay, buddy. Well, this kid, Anderson Lee Aldrich, was arrested in 2021 for making terroristic threats. He threatened to kill his mother with a homemade bomb. He showed up to her house with a black bag. The police were called, and the kid said something to the effect of, today's the day I die. Police responded, no bomb was found. He was arrested and charged with terroristic threats and calling in a bomb threat. Apparently, Colorado authorities did nothing with it because the kid was out roaming around because he goes into a nightclub with a gun and starts killing people. But the CNN reporters can't understand how all of a sudden he's non-binary, because as far as they're concerned, he's just an extremist who wanted to kill gay people, LGBTQ people, because he hates them. And they had a little panel discussion, and I'm going to show you a brief clip from that because according to them, it's all made up so he can avoid being charged with a hate crime. Have a look at this.
So, attorneys for the accused shooter, Anderson Lee Aldrich, say in new court filings tonight that the suspect now identifies as non-binary. In a footnote to a motion asserting legal privileges, the public defenders say, quote, Anderson Aldrich is non-binary. They use they, them pronouns, and for the purposes of all formal filings will be addressed as Mix Aldrich. So in other words, not Mr. or Ms. Joining me now, CNN political commentator Errol Lewis, also back with me, Al Franken and Joe Walsh. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's not anything that we had heard from his background. You know, people have been looking into his background, and I don't know if anybody here, are you guys lawyers? I mean, you know, I don't know if, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's what he's now saying.
It sounds like they're trying to prepare a defense against a hate crimes charge. That's the least of his problems, legally speaking, but it looks like they're trying to build some kind of sympathy or at least confusion on the question of whether or not this was purely motivated by hate.
I mean, that is what it sounds like. We'll wait to see.
And whether that's true or not, I don't think being charged with a hate crime is the biggest worry this kid has. After all, he killed 5 people. He planned to do this, apparently. So he'll be charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder, which will put him in prison for the remainder of his life. He deserves a death penalty, as far as I'm concerned, for doing such a cowardly act. But the CNN people, they don't believe it. They think he's just trying to avoid being charged with a hate crime so people don't point the finger and say, look at you, you hate gay people, you hate transgender people, which is such bullshit. And that's the narrative they push, and that's the narrative they'll always push. But they also found a transgender woman named Natalie Bingham, and they asked Natalie what she thought about this kid and if she thought he was non-binary, because apparently because she's a transgender woman, she's an expert. They found this person, I don't know where. Apparently she's a friend of someone who was killed or injured in that horrific shooting. But if she's an expert, I guess we're going to take her word for it. Here's what she had to say.
Natalie, when we started the show, we got a little bit of news earlier that the attorneys for the shooter are now saying that the shooter is non-binary, and the shooter would like to use the pronouns they, them, and this is for the court in all court papers, and that's what Anderson Aldrich's attorneys are saying. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's complete ludicrous. I believe they're just saying that because they want to have the easy way out on this. That's really, really offending, especially being a transgender woman myself, that a male, which it was obvious with the mugshot, that's a man, that's not a non-binary person, because in no way, shape, or form could they appear as a woman the next day. It's really offensive to even hear that they're playing that role. And if they're non-binary, why would you go after the club where you feel safe at? Why would you do that to a community where you are welcomed in if you are non-binary?
Excellent question.
And Natalie's offended. Natalie's offended because it's obvious that Aldrich is a male. No shit. it's obvious that Aldrich is not gay or not non-binary. How do you know? I thought non-binary people could look like a dude or look like a woman and still be no gender. So that's bullshit. But Natalie's offended because it's hard to believe that this person would consider himself non-binary because he looks like a man. Well, Natalie looks like a man with makeup and long hair. So what's your point? This is all bullshit. Whether this kid is gay, LGB, no one gives a shit. The point is, he killed all these people, and now he needs to be held accountable for his crimes. So blaming this one or that one, or you're 52 genders, or you're a Republican, or you're a Democrat, is beside the point. But CNN cannot live with themselves unless they blame somebody for it. So they have to blame a political party because that's the narrative that they push, and they will always push. Whether Aldrich did this because he hates gays is irrelevant at this point. He committed a horrific crime. It should have never happened. If he should have just killed himself, but I guess he didn't have the chance because there were brave people in that club, one being a military veteran who took him down and beat the shit out of him. And I guess Aldrich should just thank his lucky stars that he's even alive today. But these people just can't understand the fact that there's mentally ill individuals in this world. They do these things for whatever reason. Most of the time it's because they don't even know what they're doing. It has nothing to do with hate. It has to do with them not being happy with themselves, so they have to commit these horrific crimes to prove a point that they were bullied. They stayed to themselves. No one talked to them. They didn't fit in. So now they want their 15 seconds of fame, so they go out and they commit mass murders. Being gay, non-binary, a guy, a girl, a cat, a mule, a fucking snake, doesn't matter. When are these reporters just gonna admit the fact that mental illness is one of the key ingredients to these mass shootings? Almost every one of them, shooter who survives one of these things is mentally ill. I'm no psychiatrist, but just look at these people. They have issues, and it all starts at home. So if this kid had these problems his whole life of bullying, I'm going to blame the parents, especially Aaron, the porn star, because he didn't give a shit about the kids. I'm thinking he's just banged up from being a fighter. But it's quite obvious that he hasn't been in this kid's life for years. He didn't even know the kid was alive. And now he's claiming he was a loving parent and his son wasn't gay. And he would have no idea that this kid was gay if he is, because he hasn't seen him in years. So the reporters on these mainstream liberal media stations just need to own up to the fact that this happens. And right, it shouldn't happen. But don't blame the guns. Don't blame the other political party. Blame the politics that are being pushed out of Washington that don't do anything to address the cause. And one of the main causes is mental illness. Anybody can get a firearm. You can have the strictest gun laws anywhere. And if you want a gun, you can find one. Everybody knows it. Illegal gun sales are a big thing in this country. And the politicians need to do more to address that than taking guns away from law-abiding citizens. So blame who you want. Blame this party, blame that party, blame the family. It doesn't matter. It happens and it shouldn't happen. And the CNN windbags need to wake up and stop making excuses for these people and say they're trying to avoid a hate crime and then talking to some transgender dude who's an expert on this. Just by looking at him, Natalie can tell that he's not non-binary. Give me a friggin' break. I don't know where they dig these people up, but I guess Natalie was looking for a little spotlight, and she got it. And then hopefully Natalie will go away too. And that's it. The crime is horrific. It should have never happened. And the politicians need to address the mental health crisis in this country, not who's gay or who's straight or who shouldn't own a gun. Don't take the guns away from law-abiding citizens. Stop the illegal gun trafficking. Stop the illegal gun sales. And stop the bullshit. And do what's right and report the truth. Don't make up excuses because you blamed the Republican Party and then you decided you were wrong. So now you got to just work around it and think it's all bullshit and it's an excuse to not get charged with a hate crime. These people need to wake up because this is never going to stop until they stop pushing their bullshit political rhetoric and just blaming everybody but the root cause of it, which again, in my opinion, is mental illness. And that's it. Take it, do what you want to do with it. Research it. Mental illness is a cause. It's not a political party or a sexual gender or identity. That's nonsense. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, share my videos. I'd appreciate that. I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I'll see you soon with something else. Have a great day.